Well, that was very nice of him. But hey, I've been a very loyal friend over the course of the last 9 years. I've never wavered or wobbled in my support of him, even at times when it hasn't necessarily.
And he's shaking it up pretty good over there. He was the big winner of the last election.
Not much really lives up to the last 2 or 3 days. In America, I arrived late on Sunday night, and I went first to a Donald Trump rally that took place in a town called Reading in Pennsylvania.
What happens when an outsider challenges the political establishment on live TV? Nigel Farage just showed us, and it's not what anyone expected. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. In a recent interview, Farage didn't just answer questions, he completely reframed the conversation, leaving the host scrambling to keep up. But why is this particular interview being called iconic and unforgettable? The answer might surprise you.
What he did was, and what he is doing is sort of what we did a few years ago. He's doing a great job. He's always been my friend for some reason. He liked me, I liked him. Very highly respected, Nigel Farage. He was the big winner of the last election in the UK, and he's a very spectacular man.
As Nigel Farage strode into the studio, the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. Here was a figure who didn't fit the mold of polished politicians, ready to face off against a media establishment that often viewed him as an outsider. The host, armed with a carefully prepared script, immediately launched into questions about Farage's connections to Donald Trump. It was a familiar tactic, designed to put Farage on the defensive from the start. But Farage wasn't playing by the usual rules. Instead of offering carefully crafted non-answers or deflecting, he met the host's questions head-on. The tension in the studio began to rise as it became clear that this wasn't going to be a typical political interview. In a bold move, Farage turned the tables on the host. He began highlighting the failures of current political leaders, pointing out their broken promises and financial controversies. His direct approach stood in stark contrast to politicians like Keir Starmer, who often sidestep tough questions. Farage's willingness to tackle difficult issues head-on seemed to resonate with viewers tired of evasive answers. The host, caught off guard by Farage's offensive, struggled to regain control of the narrative. But Farage wasn't finished. He drew attention to the media's role in shaping public opinion, questioning whether they were truly serving the public interest. This unexpected critique of the very institution conducting the interview left the studio atmosphere charged with tension. As the interview progressed, something remarkable began to happen. Farage's unscripted authenticity started to cut through the usual political noise. Viewers, accustomed to rehearsed lines and careful evasions, found themselves drawn to his direct approach. The power dynamic in the studio began to shift, with Farage gaining the upper hand through sheer force of personality and conviction. The stage was now set for the interview's most pivotal moment. As the host prepared to corner Farage on a particularly sensitive topic, the audience leaned in, sensing that something unexpected was about to unfold. Little did they know that Farage was about to demonstrate why his approach to politics has earned him both fierce critics and loyal supporters. The political establishment was about to get a taste of what happens when an outsider refuses to play by their rules. Just when the interview seemed to be following a predictable path, Farage pulled out his trump card. The host's attempt to trap him backfired spectacularly, exposing a fundamental weakness in how the media approaches political discourse. As the tension in the studio reached its peak, the host launched what they believed to be their knockout punch. With an air of smug satisfaction, they confronted Farage about rumors of a potential ambassadorship under Trump. It was a classic gotcha moment, designed to paint Farage as a political opportunist with divided loyalties. But Farage, ever the political maverick, saw the trap and deftly sidestepped it. Instead of becoming defensive or evasive, he seized the opportunity to redirect the conversation in a way that left the host visibly flustered. With the confidence of a seasoned statesman, Farage pivoted to the critical importance of UK-US relations. Without a good relationship with America, we are defenseless, and I think that really matters, Farage declared, his voice resonating with conviction. In that moment, he transformed what was meant to be an embarrassing revelation into a powerful statement on national security. The host, caught off guard by this unexpected turn, struggled to regain control of the narrative. Farage's strategic move wasn't just about deflecting a difficult question. It demonstrated a level of political acumen that many of his critics have often underestimated. By shifting the focus to the bigger picture of international relations, he effectively exposed the short-sightedness of the media's fixation on personal controversies. As Farage continued to expound on the importance of strong leadership on the global stage, the interview's dynamics shifted dramatically. The host, who had started the segment with an air of superiority, now found themselves on the back foot, scrambling to keep up with Farage's command of geopolitical issues. The impact of this exchange was immediate and far-reaching. Social media exploded with reactions, with many praising Farage's performance as a masterclass in political communication. Clips of the interview began circulating widely, sparking discussions about the state of political discourse and the role of media in shaping public opinion. As the dust settled, it became clear that this wasn't just another political interview. Farage's handling of the situation had struck a chord with viewers tired of scripted politicians and gotcha journalism. The ripples from this exchange began to spread through the political landscape, challenging assumptions and forcing a re-evaluation of how political figures are engaged by the media. Farage's performance in this interview has sent shockwaves through the political landscape. His refusal to play by the usual rules of engagement has exposed a growing appetite for authenticity in politics. In the aftermath, Reform UK has seen a notable surge in the polls, suggesting that Farage's message is resonating with a significant portion of the electorate. This unexpected turn of events has forced many to reconsider the power dynamics in British politics. Farage's ability to speak freely and confidently without relying on pre-written lines has made him a standout figure in today's political climate. It's a stark contrast to the carefully scripted performances we've become accustomed to from many politicians. The impact of this interview extends beyond just Farage and Reform UK. It sparked a wider conversation about the nature of political discourse in the UK. Viewers are left questioning whether the current system truly serves their interests or if it's time for a shake-up. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: authenticity in politics is becoming a precious commodity, and those who can deliver it may find themselves with a significant advantage in the coming years.